Hi everyone, this is Janine and Felicity and Gen, and we've just had a really fantastic group with the Ready Together community, and we talked all about feeding and when to start solids. It was a really good chat, so thank you so much to the women who joined us. We just really are so loving getting to know you, and we got to know some of your babies today, so thank you.
Great questions too.
Yeah. Great questions. We really love your input. It guides us to where we need to go. So we want to do a little bit of a summary now for those of you who couldn't join us in the group. So I'm going to kick off with basically we summarised what you're looking for in terms of starting solids. So it is somewhere in that 4 to 6 month bracket, but you really are being guided by your baby, and it's that ability to sit up. And it's that your baby looking at you eating, mimicking you. They might be, as you chew, they're chewing too. It might be that they are just watching you, or Felicity said earlier, flapping their arms when you open the fridge, or maybe you get distracted while holding a spoonful of food and they grab it off you. So it's reaching, grabbing, mouthing, really showing you those signs, but importantly, sitting up. And Felicity, I just wanted you to touch on that great stuff you said in the group about digestion and sort of how sitting up is linked to that.
Absolutely. It's a developmental stage. So, when your baby's born, their gut is completely open, and anything that they ingest will just go straight through. And that colostrum at the start, it lines the gut. One of the things it does is it lines the gut, and it physically creates that barrier that they don't yet have. So when you're starting solids, what we want is you want to do it at a time when your baby's gut is ready, and that gut closure is really important. And we can't obviously look and see if the gut is closed. So what is helpful is to look for those signs of readiness, because developmentally, by the time they are in that little individual is ready, then their gut is most likely has developed to the point that it has closed, or it is almost closed. So you're not going to get the runny tummy, the terrible diarrhea, the baby showing, my system can't handle this. So waiting till they can sit up is a milestone for them. It's also a milestone for their gut, because it's given that, as I said, it's given that gut enough time to go through the development and the digestive system to be mature enough that it can handle something other than milk. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, so important. And I think too that we were talking about mealtime and food time as a positive thing, and sort of part of your family life, and having them sitting, like you say, Felicity, that they're able to sit up or see us eat, or know that it's an enjoyable time and that it's not a stressful time. And as you were saying, Jen, sort of that spoon in front, like, you must eat this, it's the most healthy thing. Or like you were saying, if you have that sort of look on your face, like, I'm really stressed about this, they're wondering why it's a stressful time. So just taking your time, knowing when they're ready, starting at the right time and starting slowly, and making it an enjoyable time is really important.
So important, because and I think from my perspective, what I see is maybe we've got our own ideas about food that we've come in with, or we really want to be the best parent we can. So we're so focused on, you must get this superfood into you because it's going to do you good. And we so want that for our babies. But it's like, Janine, you just touched on, but if we're there stressing and trying to push that food in, our baby, all they see is, wow, this mum seems really stressed. This seems like a pretty high intensity situation.
It'll be a full alert here.
What should I worry about?
I don't know what to do. Whereas if we're just including our babies around the table and they're seeing us eat and they're seeing us enjoy food, it's so much about modelling, especially at that early stage, and really all the way. And it's really, that's parenting 101, isn't it?
And it looks different for every family. There's no one set way that you need to do it. And we talked about, what the ratio of milk to solid food as well. And I find often we as mums will get really hyper focused on, well, they've only had a 5-minute feed, or they've only had 25 mils. They can't possibly have got enough. And that little baby, that might not work for them in terms of having 3 structured meals, a milk feed before, milk feed afterwards, before bed, when you get up, whatever that day looks like, that may not work for them. So it's good to be guided by your baby. And yes, milk is most important when they first start the solids journey, because they're not going to get that nutrition from a couple of spoonfuls of sweet potato or an egg and mixed up with avocado. That's great. They're great foods, but they're not going to get that balanced diet that they need for their growth at that point. But it will look different how you do it, and that's okay. So as long as you know that the baby's happy, their behavior isn't changing, their wet nappies aren't changing, that output is the same as it was before. Obviously, the stools are going to change. And
not for the better.
Not for the better, sadly, that's true. But that some color changes are, some green poos, that's okay. If there are no other signs of illness, well, then that's absolutely fine.
So sort of as a rough guide, we were saying sort of up until 6 to 7 months, milk sort of is more of the baby's nutrients, and then again, led by your baby and what kind of level of gobble guts they are, that's when Eclipse is going forward, and it's kind of just going with the flow. And if your baby's happy and healthy and shiny-eyed and shiny-haired, then it's probably
absolutely. And it is amazing the process, with breast milk. If you think about it in terms of that iron isn't there at the 6-month mark, it's not there, and we need that as humans. But you think if it was there, and then they're starting to have food as well, then that balance gets out. So in every situation, the human body is incredible.
Nature's way.
Amazing. It is amazing the way our baby's signs lead us to know what's right.
Absolutely.
So I just want to touch on sort of where to from here. What we did sort of tell the group is that this isn't the end of the conversation around feeding. We sort of are hoping, obviously, feeding and sleeping are 2 of the biggest issues that we're dealing with a young baby. So we want to keep coming back to feeding as an ongoing conversation. So please bring your questions to the group, bring them back to further Zoom chats. And we've got some really exciting stuff. We've got a CPR or first aid coming in, which is so good, because if you are starting solids, you might be worried about choking, and so we're going to get expert advice for you on that. And the other thing we plan to do is get some slightly different approaches to feeding. We're going to get someone in from the speech perspective and early intervention, and in terms of how to make food playful and fun and set the right tone in your house. And we're going to also have more chats with Brittany Darling, who's just so fantastic with the nutrition perspective. So that's kind of it, and we hope you enjoyed that little summary, and we can't wait to talk to you next week, and we'll post in the group soon about what the theme for next week is. It's coming up, something exciting. I'm positive.
Sure is. Thanks, heaps. Thanks.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.